Welcome to Lesson 5-5. That's Topic 5, Lesson 5. Today we're going to try to understand rates and unit rates. Let's start by talking about what a rate is. A rate is a ratio, and you've dealt with ratios already. We're on Lesson 5 of that whole unit. And rates involve quantities with different units. So for example, one example might be miles per hour. We drive down the highway, a certain number of miles per hour. Miles per hour, that's miles to hours. We can also have our price per pound of food. Maybe you go and buy some cold cuts at the grocery store, and it's a certain price per pound of ham, turkey, whatever it is. So that is also another example of a rate. Now a unit rate, when we see that word unit, we're talking about the number one. So one of the given quantities is one. So we might generally talk about miles per 1 hour or price per 1 pound. Those would be unit rates. So part one, we're going to be finding some equivalent rates. So here we have a track, and we're driving around that track, and we're going 10 kilometers every 3 minutes. And we want to find out, if we went at that same rate, how long would it take to travel 25 kilometers? So let's set up our table here. If I went 5 kilometers, that's half of 10, and half of 3 is 1 and 1/2. If I went 15 kilometers, well, that's a distance of 5 kilometers plus 10 kilometers. I could add the 1.5 and the 3, and I'd get 4.5. If I went 20 kilometers, that's double the 10. So I'm going to double the 3 and I get... Okay, and then if I went to 25 kilometers, that's what I'm interested in. I can get that lots of ways. I could add the 10 and the 25 together. I could do the 5 and multiply it by 5. I could add the 20 and the 5 together. So let me do that. I'm just going to add these together. 5 groups plus 20 groups is 25 groups. So I'm going to add the 1.5 and the 6, and I get 7.5 minutes. We can also use a technique you use to find equivalent fractions. If you went 10 kilometers in 3 minutes, then if we went 25 kilometers, how many minutes would that be? So I think to myself, how do I get from 10 to 25? Well, that's times 2 5/10. I can do the same here, and I get my 7 5/10, which is the same as 7.5. Okay, here's one for you to try. We've gone 10 kilometers in 3 minutes, and we want to know, what if we went 60 kilometers? How many minutes would that be? How do I get from here to here? Do the same thing here. Go ahead and solve that. We'll talk about it in class. All right, a lot of times we want to compare different rates. Which rate is more, which rate is less? And we can do that by finding a unit rate per one thing. So if I had a situation where it was $12 for 15 pounds, I could find the pounds per $1. So let's set that up. And I'm going to think to myself, how do I get from 12 to 1? Well, I've got to divide by 12. 12 divided by 12 is 1. So to get a unit rate, just divide the number by itself, and you'll get to 1. I can do that if I do the same to the top. Coming over to the side, I divided 15 by 12, and what I get is a 1 and 25 hundredths pounds. So it's 1 and 25 hundredths pounds per dollar. I could also find the dollars per pound. So I have $12 for 15 pounds, and I want to get it per 1 pound, so I got to divide now by 15. So 15 goes into 12, that's 8/10, and 8/10 is actually 80 cents, right? 8 times is 80 cents. So it's 80 cents per pound. Here's one for you to try. A recipe for scrambled eggs uses 2 tablespoons of milk for every 3 eggs. What 2 unit rates could you write here? So we want one that's tablespoons per egg and one that's eggs per tablespoon. We'll set this up. We get 2 tablespoons for 3 eggs. And I want to know what it is per 1 egg. You could get a fraction answer. That would be just fine. The other one is the other way around. 3 eggs to 2 tablespoons. How much is that per tablespoon? Figure it out and we'll go over it next time. So here we go. We're going to use unit rates now to figure out a different kind of problem. A family goes 25 miles in 5 hours. I want to know how far they could go in 8 hours. Well, I can't get directly from 5 to 8. So I'm going to find a unit rate first to find out how many miles per 1 hour I go. And then I can go from 1 to 8 pretty easily. So I'm going to divide top and bottom. I want to get to 1 hour. So I've got to divide by 5. And I get 5 miles per hour. And now I want to go to 8 hours. And that is times 8. 5 times 8 is 40 miles in 8 hours. So the answer is 40 miles. Here's one for you to try. A canoeing club travels 78 miles in 3 days, and I want to find out how far they go in 5 days. Well, I can't get directly from 3 to 5, so maybe if I find the per 1 day, then I can get to 5 days. Give it a shot. Here's some straight up practice. Okay, we have a ratio miles per hour of 45 to 4. I want to find out what n would be if the miles is 135. Set up some equivalent ratios. Jenny packed 108 eggs in 9 cartons, and I want that as a unit rate, maybe per 1 carton. And Anna Maria read 40 pages in 60 minutes. We want in her unit rate per 1 minute. So go ahead and give that a shot. Oh, by the way, this might be a fraction. That would be okay. A fraction of pages per minute. Yep, that's just fine. All right, have a good one. Talk to you later.